What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NFL player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from the other day's picks as we didn't have a video yesterday from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 22 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong, got 22 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 22 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $400 just yesterday, and another member who won $100 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to 1099 Financial Advice who said thanks, your content is great, and shouts out to Michael Garcia T9V who said great prop suggestion. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. Now, I do want to mention first the pick of Travis Kelce for 0.5 receiving yards. This one is obviously a gimme pick, so make sure to add this into your parlay when you can. I think it's a great pick, but this is definitely somewhat of a gimme pick. So definitely add this to your parlay when you can, you know, for a free extra pick there. But getting into the legitimate first pick, we are going to be talking about none other than Tyler Warren. So Tyler Warren, great player as we all know, and this one is a fantastic one for 4 receptions, and this one actually is for more. Now, looking at someone like Tyler Warren, we've actually seen him go on the over in one out of, you know, the last couple of games, because we have only seen him play one game. Now, when it comes to Tyler Warren, he does obviously play for the Indianapolis Colts. It has been definitely a great start for Tyler Warren so far during this season. And when it actually comes to Indianapolis Colts, we do know that they face off against none other than Denver. Now, they face off against Denver, and it is going to be a very good matchup between both of these teams. Obviously, looking at where, you know, both these teams do actually currently lie. Looking at the Colts, we do know Colts did win their first game. They are currently top of the leaderboard in the AFC South, but they are definitely tied with Jaguars there. So, obviously, it is only one game, but it's definitely a great start to their season. And they face off against the Denver Broncos, where Denver Broncos do find themselves with 1 win under their belt in that first game. Now, it does put them second in the AFC West, but like I mentioned, it is still very early on in the season. So obviously, looking at both of these teams, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Now, a big reason why we do like the over is that we are expecting Denver Broncos to really struggle, restricting someone like Tyler Warren when it comes to receptions. Now, we have actually seen when it comes to actually the Colts, they actually have had, pretty decent when it comes to 22 receptions so far. So that is pretty good to see. They are definitely middle of the pack in saying that, but they are, I would say, a little bit more higher mid-tier than anything else. So for that reason, we do very much like this situation for the over for this one. Now, obviously, it is still very early on in the season, so a lot of teams are still trying to figure out, players' usage rates and all that. But the way Tyler did play in that first game against Miami and having 7 receptions there on September 8, we are just expecting him to have a similar sort of outcome coming into this next game. They tend to really find him, and when they do, Tyler is able to capitalize on it. So that's why coming into this next one, we do very much like the over for this one. So definitely keep an eye out for Tyler Warren. So Tyler Warren, 4 receptions, 4 more, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Fannon Jr. So, Harold Fannon, great player. This one is also 4 receptions. However, this one is for 4 and for less. Now, looking at Harold Fannon, we've actually seen him go in the over so far in 1 out of those 1 games. Now, obviously, looking at Harold, we do know that he does play, for Cleveland. Now, Cleveland have definitely had themselves, a pretty interesting first matchup or in that first game. But Cleveland Browns do find themselves against Baltimore Ravens in this next game. It is definitely going to be an exciting one, but looking at Harold's past games, we did see on September 8th faced off against Cincinnati and also had 7 receptions in that matchup. Now, as I mentioned before, they face off against none other than Baltimore Ravens, and looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with Cleveland Browns, unfortunately, Cleveland haven't had a great start to their season because they did actually lose that first game. Now, they not only just lost, but they did find themselves in a position where they didn't really just do too well in general, and a lot of analysts thought that as well. Now, they face off against Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North as well. Now, Cleveland Browns do actually, currently rank last in the AFC North, but as I've mentioned, there has only been 1 game played. But also with them is Baltimore Ravens, who did actually lose their first game as well. So they lost their first game. They really did struggle and they weren't able to show for it, which actually puts them second last in the AFC North. But looking at this matchup coming into this one, we do know Baltimore Ravens do a fantastic job at actually restricting receptions, which is why we do like the under for this next game. Now, looking at, a team like Cleveland, we have seen Cleveland definitely do a great job at times, but also looking at Cleveland, we have actually seen, yes, when it comes to receptions, we do know that they currently rank, pretty well, as they actually rank 5th. However, coming into this one, especially against a matchup like Baltimore, although Baltimore did, really struggle in that first game and actually ended up losing, we are expecting in this next one to see a little bit more of a different outcome and see someone like Harold Fannon be able to go, on the under, due to the fact that Baltimore Ravens, we are expecting to put a lot of that pressure on him to really, restrict as much as they can. Now, when it comes to also Baltimore Ravens defense is definitely really focused on trying to do a great job at restricting receptions. That's why we definitely see that playing a huge yards there. Now, obviously looking at Baltimore Ravens, they find themselves, although they did lose that first game, they still did do a fantastic job at, restricting receptions in their first matchup, and we are expecting them to do the same in the next one. So definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Harold Fannon coming into this game. We definitely see a lot of value there for him to be able to go on the under due to those situations. And when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well, which works out in our favor there. So Harold Fannon, 4 receptions, 4 less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Dylan Samson. So, Dylan Samson, great player, as we all know. Now, he is obviously from Cleveland Browns as well, but this one is for total rushing yards for 31.5, and this one actually is for more. Now, looking at Dylan Samson, we actually did see when it comes to Dylan, we did see him actually go on the over in 0 out of, the most recent games this season, which is only 1 game. Now, on September 8th against Cincinnati, we actually saw him have 29 rushing yards, which is pretty interesting to see there. Obviously, looking at someone like Dylan Samson from Cleveland, we do know that, he does face off against Baltimore Ravens. Now, we did quickly touch on their ranking, but just to quickly reiterate again, Cleveland Browns have been struggling a little bit. They currently rank last in the AFC North. They have 1 loss under their belt, and they are hoping to turn this around. But it is still pretty similar to Baltimore Ravens, because Baltimore Ravens find themselves with actually 1 loss, and they also find themselves second last in the AFC North as well. So coming into this matchup, we do know Baltimore Ravens don't really do a fantastic job at restricting, rush yards, and that's why we are expecting someone like Dylan Samson to be able to take advantage of this. Now, looking at actually so far Cleveland Browns when it comes to rush yards, we did see that when it comes to rushing, they do only have a 49 rush yards so far this season. Obviously, it is only 1 game, but it's still definitely something to be wary about. Obviously they didn't really struggle in that first one, but as we all know, Cincinnati actually did a fantastic job defensively against, someone like Dylan Samson. But with a matchup like Baltimore, where Baltimore don't really do too well at restricting rush yards, we are expecting someone like Dylan to be able to go on the over pretty easily here. Now, for someone like Dylan Samson, we do also like the over due to the fact that when we look at, what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the over as well. It is still very early on in the season, but when it comes to the line that has been coming out, especially for someone of Dylan Samson's caliber, we are definitely expecting him to be able to go on the over, no doubt about it, in this situation here. So definitely keep an eye out for someone like Dylan Samson coming into this matchup. Like I mentioned, when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the over as well, but we are expecting coming into this matchup that Baltimore will really struggle against, someone like Dylan Samson, who does like to push the ball when he can. So, definitely keep an eye out for the over for this one. So Dylan Samson, 31.5 rush yards for more, I think is a fantastic pick.